I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Well, hello there, family. Welcome to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. You know, that's WURDradio.com. Hello and happy Monday to you. Happy Easter Monday to you, to be specific, right? I cannot forget that. Did you enjoy your Resurrection Sunday? Did you? I hope you did. I so hope you did, because I enjoyed mine. I'm going to tell you. Did you have some good food? I want to hear from you. I want to know what you had. I want to know if you just sat there and read a book, because, you know, I like to do that too, you know, so I'm interested in you. I want to know what you have going on and what's going on in your life. Well, here we are, the day after Easter Sunday. Oh, it's a Monday. For some, it's not so good. You know, some people say they don't like Mondays too much, but I say every day is a good day. Okay. As long as we get another day, every day is a good day. So family, listen, for those of you whose light is shining just a little dimly, you know, you know what I do. You know, every single show, I tell you that I'm sending you some extra love and hugs. I'm sending you all the extra love and hugs that you can handle, okay? Because sometimes, you know, we need that. I know I do. I know I do. I want to thank you all for spending your time, your energy, and your attention with me. You know you're appreciated, okay? You know you are. So listen, as I tell you, I believe every show that we have is amazing. I believe all of our guests are amazing as well. And tonight is no different. Tonight, though, is extra special because I just so happen to share a bloodline with tonight's guest. Yes, I am bringing to you one of my family members. I said, you know what? You know, you all are family as well. But, you know, I said I wanted to spotlight some entrepreneurs again, as I do. You know, you've met some. But I said, I have entrepreneurs right here in my own family that I would really like you to know. And I said, why waste another minute? Okay, doing so. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you this beautiful woman who is my cousin. She just so happens to be a mogul. How about that? She's a mogul. I love saying that. I love it. I love it. She's a beautiful young woman. He started a company of her own. I'm going to let you tell her all. I'm going to let her. I said that wrong. I'm going to let her tell you all about it. But I just wanted to let you know that little tidbit, you know. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to introduce you to her. Her name is Rashidah Riddick. Welcome her family. Hey, cuz.
Hi, cuz. How are you? Happy Easter Monday.
I know, right? I won't complain. I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here with you. How about that? I'm happy to be here with you.
So it's exciting.
Well, good. I'm so glad. It's exciting for me because I get to share, you know, our other family members with you. I get to share you. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I can't get it right, but I get to share you with our other family members. There, I got it right. There we go. There we go. Family. So we were together the other day and we were talking we had a little nibble. My mother used to call that a chat and chew. So we had a chat and chew. And I said, you know what? We had a conversation about healthcare and about caregiving. And well, we were talking about life, period. We were just talking about life. We were talking about everything. But the conversation came up because, I took care of my mother. I cared for both my mother and my father. But Rashida is a caregiver on a whole nother level. Okay. Rashida said, I'm going to help you to care for your loved ones. So I love that because, well, y'all know, I'm so sensitive. I didn't have it in me to widen the net like you did. I'm what they call empathic. I think they say I'm empathic because I feel everybody's pain. So I couldn't do it. But I applaud you. I applaud you for all of your accomplishments, quite honestly. But this one in particular, because it's so close to your heart, it's of course close to my heart, being a caregiver. But before we get into all of that, can you tell our family members a little bit about you?
Cuz thank you for the introduction. So my name is Rashidah Robinson. I am a child of both a Robinson and a Riddick. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, as you know, because a lot of our family members had businesses in South Philadelphia when we were growing up. So we spent a lot of time at our family businesses in the stores, in the sporting goods stores. Even remember cousin Eddie Paul just helping him sell Christmas trees on
My
Point
goodness.
Breeze. Yes. So, or even Uncle Lawrence as a
Yeah.
police officer helping him sell sneakers in a sporting goods store on Point Breeze. So
Yeah.
growing up, as a product of both Robinsons and Riddicks in South Philly, I think I just had that hustler spirit in me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was raised in Germantown, as you know, and I spent my summers in South Philadelphia. I'm the oldest of four, and I've always been very, very bossy, but very inquisitive. So that inquisitiveness led me into it led me down an educational path of science. So I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh. I thought I was going to be a physician, right? Studying neuroscience. So I do have a bachelor's in neuroscience. But when I always tell people, do not stop educating yourself. Don't ever stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Continue on, because taking pauses in life sometimes are good, but sometimes it's bad. But in this particular situation, it led me to another path, or down another path outside of being a neurosurgeon. I came back to Philadelphia in '99 with my degree in neuroscience. Not sure exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew that I would do something in the science field or in the healthcare field eventually. So I ended up working in the pharmaceutical industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in the pharmaceutical industry studying medicine and the way medicine impacts the body. And it's so funny because for a very long time, my friends would tease me and call me Tommy off of Martin. No one understood what exactly I did
Wait.
for a living.
What's so funny about you saying that? Because, well, first, let me say this first. To the Robinson side of the family, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad, because I sure did. You know what? Because I sure did say Rashida Riddick, and I know
It's
better.
okay.
I know. No, because you know how family is. You know the rest of the family.
I
Like,
know.
what did she
They're gonna
say?
hear you like,
You,
no, Karen, she's a
I know,
Robinson.
I know. So let me just let my family know. Charge it to my head and not to my heart. Okay, you already know. But the second thing is, I was going to ask you, for our family members who are unaware, could you please tell them what neuroscience is? Because I know when you
Ah,
just said that about being Tommy, I said, you know what? I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. They were probably saying, what does that mean? What do you do?
neuroscience. Yes. It's so I was so weird and nerdy in school that I wanted to study the brain. So neuroscience is the
I love
study
it.
of the brain. And the brain it's the battery of your body outside of your heart, right? But it controls and it tells every single body part what to do, even your heart. So that was always interesting to me Because at the end of the day, our bodies is a machine. But how is this particular part of the body so important? Why is it so important? And how does it control the body? It's that what, when, where, why, and how. And so I just was super duper interesting to me. And I said, one day I am going to help individuals with mental issues, behavioral issues, challenges with the range of motion in their bodies as a result of brain injuries. And in my mind, I was going to be a brain surgeon. So I studied neuroscience. I started to take the MCATs. I did the whole shebang. I just didn't apply to medical school. I even wrote a junior thesis on the upregulation of nicotinic receptors in the brain. I know. I was interested in knowing why people smoke so much.
Well, I'm interested. I'm interested in knowing myself. I really am. Did you figure it out?
I did a little. I did a lot of preclinical research, is what we call in the pharmaceutical world, where I studied. I trained lab rats. I studied them. I decapitated them. I did brain slicing and imaging. After I trained them and conditioned them to smoke. It was an extensive research project. It was a junior thesis. It took me like 6 months to study. Yes, when individuals are stressed or when individuals have triggers within their brain, they will smoke. The one thing about nicotine is it's very addictive. And the more you smoke, the more nicotinic receptors you have in your brain. As a result, your body will want to kind of like, I'm trying to figure out how to say it in layman's terms. Your body will want to feel or fulfill those nicotinic receptors at any given time. Yeah.
That makes all the sense. Well, they've been telling us for I don't know how long it's addictive. It's addictive. So that makes so much sense. No, no, I know you're going to correct me, and I'm going to ask you to do so. But when talking about the brain, they say that we only use a certain percentage of our brain. I've heard that, just in conversation in passing. Is that true?
You use a certain percentage of different brain parts.
Okay.
Right? Because every part of your brain controls a different part of your body. Every part of your brain, different parts of your brain respond to different behavioral changes. Right? Yeah. Now, I don't know the actual statistics or the numbers or the percentages, but I can do some research for you. That's my thing.
Well, being a nerd must run in our families because we love education. I will say that we love education. Family. I know if you've just tuned in, you're saying, what did I walk into? What are they talking about? Well,
I know.
We're going to tell you what we're talking about. If you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURD radio.com. For our family members who are interested, listen, you send us a message and we'll get the answer to you, because I know you're saying, I want to know so much about what she's talking about. I know you are. Because this is interesting. It's interesting. Finding out what makes you tick. That's always been of interest to me, and coupling it with healthcare, coupling it with long-term or repetitive motion and experiences and applying that, all of that information together has always been of interest to me. So it amazes me when I talk with those of you who study us, and the things that we do. I think it's so interesting. It's tremendous. How do I put it? I love the interest that you all have, because you all will take the time, because this takes time. Like you said, your study, it was a 6-month study. But to get the research that you're looking to get, it takes some time to do all of that.
So much time.
Yeah. So you say when you were younger, you had an interest in science. You had an interest in being a physician. What happened?
Time, decision making. I always tell people, be mindful of the decisions you make now, because it determines your future.
True.
So you have to be very careful with every decision you make, and be patient with yourself as you make decisions, because they will determine your path and your way of life. And I just decided, you know what? I am so tired of neurology that I am going to finish this last class at this University of Pittsburgh, and I'm going to finish this junior thesis, and I am going back to Philadelphia. And then I just landed in the pharmaceutical world, where you talk about time and research. If you just think about the COVID, right, pandemic and the virus, and how quickly they were able to come up with vaccines. That type of research in the pharmaceutical world takes us like 7-8 years. It takes a very long time and costs a lot of money.
Well, you know what? That was interesting that you would say that, because I know we talk about the COVID virus having been around for years. I'm inclined to believe maybe some of the research had already, been done. They only had a small part to finish. Maybe, I don't know. Is that
So there's the SARS virus has been around for years. And just like every virus, like a cold virus, there are various strands of it, right? And viruses, they're not bacteria. Bacteria, you can take an antibiotic and you can fight off the bacteria. The virus is very, very hard to fight off. So it's like, how do you prevent it? You prevent it with a vaccine. Just like the chickenpox virus is one I was just talking about with my son's physician when he went for his annual visit. You don't see children with chickenpox anymore because they have a vaccine now. Kids get vaccinated at a young age. So the vaccine, they actually inject the virus into the body, so that when the virus is presented, the body automatically knows to fight it off, to prevent the symptoms of the actual virus, or prevent the virus from spreading to cause symptoms. So the thing about viruses and science and bacteria and bugs, they can mutate in so many different ways, right? And so a vaccine that you have today might not fight off a vaccine of that is very similar to measles or mumps or chickenpox 20 years from now, right? So you just have to keep on testing the science over and over and over so you can make the vaccine stronger. When it comes to the COVID virus itself, or COVID-19, I think it was, right? They just weren't prepared. That virus strand was very, very strong, and they didn't have the vaccine or even the drugs to help fight it off.
So how do you think
the symptoms down?
How do you think they were able to come up with a vaccine so quickly?
They tested it very quickly in animals, tested it in patients that didn't have the virus pretty quickly to make sure that it was safe, right? These are like phase 1 healthy volunteer studies. You hear these commercials on the news where they say, if you are a healthy volunteer or healthy and you want to participate in a clinical trial, call us. They do these trials at Drexel, Temple, University of Penn. And they tested it really quickly to make sure it was effective and safe in humans, and then they just pushed it out there. The FDA gave certain pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson the approval to push them out. Moderna, right? And they went out pretty quickly because we had to stop the spread of the virus because it was killing people. It was a deadly virus. In those situations, the FDA will allow for like quick return, if you will.
Okay.
Right? And I think every pharmaceutical company out there were testing to see if they could come up with something that was effective, right? It's just that some were able to find a drug that was effective, a vaccine that was effective and safe quicker than others. And that's how the pharmaceutical industry works, right? They're constantly testing for drugs for cancer. They're testing for drugs for allergy and asthma. HIV is still another one that's out there. But it's how quickly can you find a drug that is effective and safe at various tolerable doses?
I think that was the thing for me, like what you just said about the vaccine being available, being safe. That was the biggest thing. I was terrified to get, I'm going to be honest, family, listen. I was terrified to get vaccinated. I did not want it at all. I did not, because of the rush, because of the amount of time that, and as we were acknowledging, it took for them to come up with a vaccine. My mind was saying, okay, this is too fast. This is too fast. My spirit was telling me, they don't know if there are going to be side effects. Like, all kinds of things were going through my mind, and all kinds of things still go through my mind when we talk about COVID-19, when we talk about all of the vaccines and everything associated with it. Family, listen. If you've just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. You know that's WURDradio.com. We are talking with none other than RASHIDAH ROBINSON, who is a healthcare professional. And we're talking about all things healthcare in this moment. But we've got to take a short commercial break, okay? But stay with us because we'll be right back.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go. Excellent. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. I love you!
And is this with the doctor or is this with the nurse practitioner? Fantastic. Dad, lunch! Got some soup for you.
You are loved.
Oh, look at those freckles.
This was very much...
You are valued. You are strong. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early, when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hey, boss. Okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Since I was little, it was only like me and my parents. You think you created family out of characters? Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take that, make it into a song.
Me the bed, see you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at? Where you at? On the way out. In my head, in my head, in my head.
Taysom,
Hey, Pop.
you can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURD radio.com. We are joined by none other than RASHIDAH Robinson, and we're talking about healthcare. Before the break, we were talking about COVID-19, talking about the different vaccines that were made available to us. And I was sharing with you all. I said, in all honesty, okay, I was terrified when they started talking about these vaccines. I really did not want to get vaccinated. I really didn't. I mean, I fought it tooth and nail, and I did not get vaccine until I absolutely had to do so. Until it was like, okay, listen, you can't work unless you get vaccinated. So that was when I became vaccinated. And then I was still fearful, But I know I started thinking about it, saying, as with anything, as with everything, there's a vaccine for the flu. There's a vaccine for everything. Like we were just talking about that. There's a vaccine for everything. And I'm still here. I've had those other vaccines and I'm still here. So I just prayed on it and let it go. Just let it go. But being a healthcare worker, I'm sure everybody but me was asking you all kinds of questions about what you thought about COVID. Did you get a barrage of questions about your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because again, no one really knew what I did for a living until we were going through the pandemic and they were creating a vaccine to fight off the infection or the virus. And so, yes, I did get a ton of questions from different people asking me, Roz, is this what you do? Don't you work in the pharmaceutical industry? Do you make vaccines over there at your company? Is this vaccine going to be harmful? And I think for African Americans in particular, people think about, just being, things that are experimented on African Americans and what happened with the Tuskegee Airmen and, what that history looks like and how we fear science and how we fear, as I'm throwing up air quotes, being guinea pigs, right? So individuals assume that because the vaccine was being pushed out so quickly that it wasn't truly tested thoroughly enough for them to feel comfortable to take it. So yes, I did get a ton of questions. And a lot of people, when people did start to get vaccinated, they would call me like, Ra, I was cold, or Ra, I got sick, or Ra, I think I truly, I think I have COVID. And Ra, did they actually put the virus into my body? Am I going to have COVID for the rest of my life? So I did get those a lot of questions, and a lot of them I just couldn't answer because I just didn't have the knowledge to answer them. But I was able to support people through the process. And I think the one thing that
looks like we're having
it's important for us to be vaccinated because it decreases the incidence rates of the pandemic. It slows it down so we can all go outside. So we can live normal, healthy lives like we used to.
That was the biggest thing. I think that was the biggest question everybody was asking when they started talking about the vaccine. That was the biggest question everybody was asking. Everybody was saying, okay, so this doesn't make sense. How is this supposed to make it better or easier for us to be able to live? Like nobody, nobody understood that. And there, I'm sure we still have some family members that are still questioning it. So would you mind explaining to our family members and repeating the explanation that I'm sure you gave to a lot of others, how it makes it easier for us to go back out and about?
Because you got to think about, like, if the more individuals in the world that have been vaccinated with something that will fight off an infection once they're encountered with it, it makes us immune. So it builds up an immunity in the population so that the virus can't thrive. If everyone is immune to something, then this bug can't thrive in our world, right? So the incidence rates go down. And the virus, it still kind of lays dormant. It lies dormant there, and it impacts people that aren't vaccinated. But for the majority of the world, of the majority of our society, it won't thrive. It won't penetrate. And as a result, the virus you get less incidents. People are less likely to become hospitalized. People are less likely to test positive for it. And then we can, as you see, over the past couple of years, we're able to go back to normalcy.
So I have a question about something you said. You were talking about the virus itself, like not the virus COVID, but viruses, how they mutate. So what does that mean for us? And, now that, 2023, the majority of us have been vaccinated and we're living comfortably. We're thriving. We're at a level of comfort now where we're coming back out. So what does that mean if COVID mutates again? Does that mean we have a safety net to some degree because we've been vaccinated, or could we be in the same position all over again? It's a hard question.
Yes, it is a hard question, and I'm not a specialist here or an expert, but I'm going to tell you that because viruses and bacteria mutate so much, we could be in a position in the future where this could impact us differently. But the good thing about science is there's a bunch of nerds in a lab that are constantly studying and testing and I can tell you one thing's for sure, two things for certain. That was it wasn't the first time we've experienced that type of pandemic. But it was the first time that the government responded the way it did. And I can tell you it won't respond like that the next time.
I know it won't.
So be prepared, family. Be prepared for the what ifs in life, right? I think that's the one thing that it taught me as individual, as an entrepreneur, as a mother, to be prepared for the what ifs, because I was a sitting duck in the house watching numbers on CNN. Right?
We all were.
And I didn't know, could I get to my money at the ATM? Could I even go outside? Because I felt like there was like an apocalypse or something going on, right? You didn't know. It was just this fear. I'm like, what's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next week? What happens with my businesses? What happens with my residents? Like, what do I do? Will I have a job at the pharmaceutical company in the next couple of years? I just didn't know. So my biggest takeaway from the pandemic is to be prepared for the what ifs.
I think we all had that. Because everybody started shifting. With everything that you just said, all of those questions you just stated were questions we all had. Okay, so how do I function? How do I function? Can I? Will I be able to? And when I'm able to do so, what will change? What will change about how I used to do it, and all kinds of, and we're still there. I mean, we're still there. And I do know a good number of people who are still living in fear, who are still fearful. I know some people are saying, what? It's 2023. We're all back out. We're back outside now. Well, not everybody is back outside. Just there are a select few. And listen, I overstand, because to have the world come to a halt the way it did is a lot to process. It's a lot to process. It's a lot to digest, and then be told, okay, it's all right now. You can come back out. Listen. It is a lot. it's a lot. Again, it's a lot to process, it's a lot to digest, and it's a lot to navigate and maneuver,
Mm-hmm.
But here we are. Here we are again. We just got together, so it's 2023, and you and I were out the other day. We were having our chat and chew, and you said something the other day that you said again today that I think is so important for us to mention or take some time with. You were talking about the decisions we all make, and you were talking about being patient with yourself. And you also said, because when I was asking you about school, and you said you took some time off, and when I tell you, because I did the same thing, we had this conversation about taking time off and how your life can change and how it can shift. But family, the bottom line, quite honestly, both of us, we were talking about this, saying the bottom line, when you make decisions in life, be sure about the decisions you are making. Be sure about those decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is. And then, there are, I don't even want to say consequences, but you do determine the remainder of your journey. And we were talking about making big decisions at young ages about where life was going to go. I mean, I'm happy with life. I don't have any regrets. I'm good with it, but at the same time, it's so important to be good with all of your decisions. So I wanted to go back to that, family, because, on Love and Life, we talk about everything. And I would have told you, I tell you stuff in full transparency, but we've all made decisions at some point in life where we said, okay, we had to think twice. But I'm here today to say that there are no regrets. I'm good. And I hope you are too. I'm saying that to say I hope you are too. But we were talking about that. No. Our family members. I was pointing to. I know.
Because it's funny you say that, because I was having a conversation with an individual the other day, and we were talking about the decisions that we make in our life and regrets. And I'm like, do you have regrets? Is there anything in your life that you thought that you could have done differently and would have gotten a different result? Like, or is there something that you did and you're like, that wasn't the best decision? And
I have a few of those.
And you deeply regret it, right? You're like, I learned from it, but I deeply regret the decision that I made.
Yeah.
I have
a few. You have a few? I have a few of those. I don't know if I would do that again. I have a few of those. I do have a few of those, but but I'm good. At the core of it all, I'm good. I'm good.
About this. Yeah.
So now I want to shift. I want to take a few steps. You said, okay, I decided to come back to Philadelphia. You were in pharmaceuticals. So what were you doing working in the pharmaceutical field specifically?
So I've been in the pharmaceutical industry for the past 23 years. And I started off with data entry jobs. And I quickly began to move into roles with higher responsibility or more responsibility as I learned the business. I learned what pharmaceutical companies do, what the research was all about, and why was this so important to our society. So I found my niche in managing and overseeing operations. That's my passion, right? Being a people manager, being an operational manager, the ability to support individuals and influence individuals in a positive way to do their job and to do their job well. And while doing their job, find opportunities to develop them so they too can move around in the pharmaceutical or the corporate world the way I did. That's where I found my niche, and that's where I stay. I realized that throughout my path, that I love supporting people. I love I think, like, as a woman, it's just that general, like that instinct, that nurturing instinct. Like, I want to help you. I want to support you. I want to watch you grow and blossom. Although I'm not good with plants. I don't know if you can see a little flower in it, but I think that's the only thing. The only thing I'm not like good with. I feel like kind of embarrassed, but you give me a live plant and it's a done deal. But I have a house full of animals, and I take care of my animals. I take care of my baby. I take care of my parents, and I try to pour into everything and everybody. And I do the same thing in the pharmaceutical industry, and corporate America is what I call it. And, I always say people want to be seen and they want to be heard. And it's important as a leader to take the time, that patience we talked about a little bit, to take the time and listen so that your individual that's working for you or working with you is seen and is heard. That's where I sit, because I'm the senior director of global trial management at Bristol Myers Squibb. And I oversee operations. And that's just one job that I have.
I was about to say. She has tentacles. I want to interrupt you for one moment. Weird. I love it though. I want to interrupt you for just one moment. You're a woman. That's what we do. We have tentacles. But family, we've got to take a short break. Stay with us though, okay? Because we will be right back.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
We're often influenced by what we see or hear on social media. Beware of disinformation campaigns targeting Black communities by using cultural issues to incite divisions, spread false information, and negatively influence public opinions. We're in this together, and together we can stay informed and empowered. Learn more at nbcit.org. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things could never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
You're
listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. We're so happy to have you with us. So happy to have you with us on this Easter Monday, the day after Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. We hope that all is going well with you and for all of you. Before the break, we were talking with our guest tonight, RASHIDAH Robinson, and I had asked her to tell us a little about what she does. Mind you, she's a woman, so you already know she has 10 jobs, okay? Because that's what we do. We have tentacles. We have 10 jobs. So she was telling us about one of the jobs. And RASHIDAH, I had to interrupt you because we were going to commercial. But if you could you tell us, could you repeat what you were telling us about, the one job, the one?
And that's my baby, right? So I am the head of the Global Trial Management Department at Bristol Myers Squibb Pharmaceutical Company. We specialize a lot in immunology and a lot of studying and studying and seeking the science and the development of drugs or innovative medicines for patients. So that job, my primary role is to drive operations. But that is my 9 to 5. That is what I do. And I've been doing that for the past 23 years.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know. The good thing is now everybody knows what I do for a living. Because before I was Tommy and they're like, oh, you don't have a job. And it's because like before the whole remote working, right? I did a lot of travel. So I was constantly in the field working. I would work from home. I would host meetings from home. So people assumed that I really didn't have a job because I didn't get dressed up and drive into an office. But I'm like, no, I do that too. I just do it like maybe 2 times a week. But that's the norm post-pandemic, right? But that's baby. And then when we think about the pandemic, go ahead.
I was going to ask, so what does that mean? Like, for a day-to-day for you, like, what does that mean for you, overseeing your department? What does that mean? What does that entail for you?
I am a people manager, so I'm the supervisor.
Okay.
Right. So I'm the supervisor in corporate America. It looks a little different, but I have individuals that report into me that have direct reports. My direct reports are directors and associate directors at the company. So these individuals, we talk about process, we talk about people. My job is to ensure that people are doing their job well, and developing. Right? That's one part of my job. The other part of my job is to make sure that the processes to do the job make sense. They're efficient, they make sense, and people understand them.
Understood. Okay.
And
Well, so now
it's just the biggest difference is that it's from a global perspective, right? So we have a site in Boudry, Switzerland. So I have a message there. So it's making sure that not only do my staff in the United States all across the nation understand the processes and feel integrated and they feel accepted in the organization, but it's ensuring that we have that same connection and that same collaboration across these.
That sounds like a lot. I love Switzerland, by the way. I love that. It sounds like a lot. It does because you're talking about corporate America. So it's as you were saying, it's a lot different than, managing a household. And you're talking about countries. You're talking about managing processes and operations in multiple countries. So that does sound like a lot. You're saying, does it? Yeah, it does. It does sound like a lot.
And I'm about to even complicate it even more. So this is about to get really tricky, right?
Okay.
So, our family listening today. Because, and this is where I get teased a lot by people, because I decided, remember that decision making that we talked about, those paths, right? And I even mentioned being prepared, right? Because of the pandemic. But I decided that I was bored at work. I'm like, I could do this half the time with my eyes closed. Because it's all about just navigating and being able to connect with people, understanding their discretionary effort and really pulling that up and through for the organization and for their benefit. So I decided in 2018 that I would start my own business, completely different from the pharmaceutical industry. We're not studying any science or taking a deep dive into science, but I realized that there was a need for helping others in the home. And I was thinking, this could bring in some residual income to support me and my family. And then it's an opportunity for me to do something different. So in 2018, I opened up a home care agency. The name of the agency is Care Nest Home Care Agency. And people are like, oh my God, where did you get that name? The name wasn't out there, but it's funny because if you Google Care Nest now, it pops up everywhere, right? But the one thing that they can't duplicate is that logo right there.
They sure can't. They sure can't. I love it.
I created that in alongside my.
I love it.
Yeah. So, and this was like using the creative side of my brain, right? I was like, okay, it's fun, it's different. What do I have to do? And then I required, holy, it takes a lot. This isn't just a run-of-the-mill side job, little side hustle. No, because I started to study what home care were all about. And I realized that in order for someone to trust your business and allow you to bring someone into their home, you have to know what you're talking about, to have the empathy that is required in this business, right? And 3, be available. So I quickly learned that I couldn't do it alone.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
I use the transferable skills from corporate America to drive Care Nest Home Care Agency. Now we are rated one of the top 10 home care agencies in the city of Philadelphia. We service Philadelphia, Montgomery County, Bucks County, Chester County, and Delaware County. We have almost 300 employees, and we support and focus not just only on our employees, but we focus on the client and the client families. We do this by just kind of getting our hands dirty and getting involved in the family, identify what the family's needs are, what the client's needs are, and then we identify the perfect caregiver or home health aide to go into the homes to care for them. And then there's this cyclic conversation of, how are things going? This is what I need. This is the feedback that I'm giving you. This is how things are going. And so it's constant. It never stops. 24/7, it never stops. But I did this and I realized that it had turned, when I look back, it turned into something way more than I expected, because I was expecting residual income to support the community, to support my family, to be prepared just in case I ever wanted to retire from corporate America. And I had to quickly learn that the home care agency and the home care business is way deeper than what is seen on the surface. It requires a lot of time. It requires a certain skill set, and it requires a certain personality to want to take care for someone that you don't know.
So when you say that, can you dig a little deeper for us? When you say it requires so much more. I mean, I appreciate the what you said on the surface. I really do. But what do you mean when you say it requires so much more than what maybe I might anticipate, or what I might think, or what it may look like to me on the outside?
So I'll start with your general caregiver, right? So and then I'll delve into operations a bit. But when you think about a home health aide, it's not the highest paying job. At Care Nest, we pay up to $18 an hour, right? And because I realized that these individuals is not the highest paying job, and we don't pay, they come in with a certain level of education and skill. I try to find ways that I can support them, right? So, and I'll get into that, but I had to realize that when I'm picking these people, because it's not the highest paying job, people were just looking for jobs. They're like, but no, I need you to want a job.
Right.
I need you to want to
this
care
job. Yeah.
This is Just your typical McDonald's, flip a burger, stock some shelves type of job.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah. You know what? I want to stop right there. I hate having to stop right there because we have to take a moment because this conversation right here, this one right here. But family, stay with us, okay? Because we are going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be right back.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
No? Excellent. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
I love you!
And is this with the doctor or is this with the nurse practitioner? Fantastic. Dad, lunch. Got some soup for you.
You are loved.
Oh, look at those freckles.
This was very much.
You are valued. You are strong. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early, when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hey, boss. Okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Since I was little, it was only like me and my parents. You think you created family out of characters? Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take that, make it into a song.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted, Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at, where you at, on the way out. In my head, in my head, in my head.
Jason,
Hey, Pop.
you can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love
Hey, family, welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life. How about that? Thank you for those of you who've been sticking with us. Thank you to those of you who've just joined us. We're talking with RASHIDAH Robinson, who is my cousin, who happens to be my cousin. But we're talking about just love, life. We're talking about everything. And before the commercial break, RASHIDAH was talking about one of her loves, which just so happens to be a company that she started, which is called Care Nest Home Care Agency, for those of you who missed it. And she was talking about how she chooses some of her staff. When you said to care for someone, now we all know, family, you already know that I'm always transparent with you. But when we're talking about caregiving and we're talking about caring for someone, there's a certain amount of love. There's some extra love that you have to have in you to care for another individual. And especially if it's not a loved one, if it's not someone that you know and love, there's a special person that it takes to be a caregiver, to care for others. Those I consider you, myself, we're people of service. That's what we do. We like to do for others. We like to care for others. I got to make sure you're good. I got to make sure you're all right. And how can I help if you're not? That's who we are. That's just who we are. And so I'm listening to you talk about trying to find staff who shares that. And I don't know how. That sounds like it would be a difficult task, quite honestly. I don't know. Is that difficult?
It is extremely difficult, right? And it's an interesting question because you would think that it's relative, but it's really what it is. Because we're post-pandemic and people struggle with going back to work. We're in you could call it a recession where things are overpriced and things are very expensive. So in this business in the state of Pennsylvania, we're struggling with costs. We're struggling with talent. We're struggling with retention. So it makes this particular recruitment efforts very, very challenging. Individuals, they're looking at being a home health aide as just a job when it's not just a job. And to your point, it takes a special type of person to want to care for someone that's not their loved one, that they don't know. Right. So it's like, what does that screening process look like? How do I bring in talent that's willing and able to work and care for someone that they don't know at a low cost or a low price? Right. And it's hard because at Careness, I love y'all. I love y'all. But I just can't do just anybody that wants a job. This isn't just this means this job or this organization means so much to me. And I can't be there every single day. I have a team of individuals that drive talent and drive operations for me, right? Just as I do in the corporate world. But I train these individuals to screen for a certain type of person. I want to know why you want this job. Because if it's just a job, I might have other opportunities for you. I may know people that are looking for a cook. I may know someone that's looking for a sanitation worker. I might know someone that's looking for someone that can wash hair. You know what I mean? Or someone that can come into their job because they're the supervisor at McDonald's or Wendy's. So if you just want a job, I might can find an opportunity for you. But if you're looking to go into someone's home and deeply understand and seek to understand what this person needs and what type of care they need and provide that care in that time, then I need you on my team. Right? Because people, you just got to think about it. And I tell people it's evolution. It's a change of life. You start out as a baby and you go up this curve. It's like a bell curve, and then you come down. Right. So you start out as a baby, you're going to end as a baby.
Yeah.
The same way you had someone caring for you when you came out the womb is the same way that you're going to have someone caring for you when you leave this world or when you're ready to transition to the other world. So this is imagine what type of person do you want? You had your mother on this side of the spectrum. What type of person do you want on this side of the curve? You want someone that's going to love you, be gentle with you, because you are not going to be the same person you were for 50, 60, 70 years.
Ooh.
You got to be patient with me, right? Because I don't even remember who I am. I can't move my limbs. So I need you to be patient with me, because I once was, and now I am. So I need you to be patient and be careful and be humble with me. So what does that look like when you're recruiting talent for a home care agency? I need somebody empathetic, loving, that want to come into someone's home and take care of them for not a lot of money. But the good thing with me is I understand that as an employer. So I thought deeply around what I could do for someone where I can't give them a lot of money because the state of Pennsylvania won't allow me to. I decided to give out free life insurance.
Really?
We give out free, as long as you're employed with the CareNest Home Care Agency, you will receive $10,000 life insurance policy. Now I need my caregivers to get their beneficiary forms in, so I know who to get the money to, because life happens, right?
How about
you
that?
Never know. But
How
I
about
decided
that?
to offer that. I also decided to offer bonuses. A couple dollars is better than no dollars at all. So we give out bonuses for compliance rate. We do little small things here and there for individuals. I also do turkey drives at the end of the year for my caregivers. I'm like, come get a free turkey, a free ham. And last year I was fortunate enough to buy beef. So I had like roast beef.
Wow.
I do a toy drive at the end of the year for their kids. I was thinking about Easter, and I'm like, you know what? My brain is like, you talk about these tentacles, right? And neuroscience and my brain is like this all day long. And I was like, next year I'm gonna do an Easter egg hunt for the kids.
Nice.
It's gonna be breakfast with the bunny, the CareNest bunny, and we'll have breakfast and we'll do an Easter egg hunt, because I believe that you just can't have people working for you. You gotta feed and pour into them. I do it in corporate America. I pour into talent. Why I do, and so I do it in my own business. I pour into my talent. I pour into the directors that are leading and driving CareNest, right? And I tell them that this is the expectation, that they pour into their caregivers and their home health aides. I want people that want to be here. I want people that love people and feel the passion coming through. As me, as the head and the face of CareNest, I need you as an individual contributor, as a home health aide, as a caregiver, to have that same passion. And I need to trust it, so that when I call and I say, Cousin Carol, I'm sending Justice to your house. And I'm going to meet you. I'm going to meet Justice to you at your house. And I want you to understand who Justice is. And this is Justice's background, because I've done a thorough screening of Justice, and I've trained Justice on your care. And so I'm bringing them to your house. When I leave Justice there, I want to trust that Justice is going to give you what you need. And you're going to build a bond with Justice, an organic, trusting bond. And that it'll be a working relationship until you no longer want Justice or no longer need the service.
Oh my goodness, Rashid. So let me, I know our family members are going to want so much, and I'm sitting here and I'm listening, and I know they're saying, well, ask her this, ask her that. I'm sorry, family. I'm listening. Okay. I'm taking it all in. So Rashida, you were talking about, well, first of all, congratulations and kudos, because you were telling us about where CareNest ranks, how CareNest ranks, and that's amazing. So thank you for sharing that with us, because we're celebrating you and the company. So congrats. How many locations are there? No, you know what? There's a two-part to this question. So you were just talking about placing staff in someone's home. So what kind of services? That's my first question. I'll get back to the other one. What kind of services does CareNest provide?
Okay. General, non-skilled, I call them homemaker services, right? So when you think about your own house, right? What do you do on a daily basis? You cook, you clean, you prepare yourself for the day. You groom yourself, you do your laundry. If you take any medicine, you make sure you're taking your medicine. If you have diabetes, you're tracking your glucose levels. You're taking walks, you exercise. You may take calls throughout the day. If you go to work, you come home. You may even have social events. CareNest Home Care Agency and their aides will support an individual in need in their home with all those things. Medication management, grooming, meal prep, we will actually cook your meals. And I like for some aides to do little things with the actual client. If the client was once a baker, bake a cake with them, right? But let them be the teacher, right? If the client was once a gambler, I want you to play spades with them and let
I
them
know
win.
that's right. I know that's right.
If the client was once an engineer, I want you to put a puzzle together with that client, right? Do something. If the client was a gossiper, I want you to find the best talk show and you watch the talk show and you sit there and you gossip with them. So we're also companions. Companions related to care, though. We're care companions. We're not just any run of the mill. I'm gonna sit here on my cell phone and play on Instagram while you sit in your chair and watch Family Feud. No, we're gonna watch Family Feud together.
Right. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all the homemaker services, but it's all non-skilled. So we don't provide any nursing, any physical therapy or occupational therapy.
Do you have services that cater to those who have healthcare needs or physical healthcare needs, I should say?
So when you think about physical healthcare needs, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of where we specialize. Individuals with behavioral health, like schizophrenia, autism. Individuals with progressive diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's, right? We specialize. We actually have several of our caregivers that either have the training or they have the on-the-job training and skills to support individuals with those type of needs.
So do they also come to the homes or do you have facilities?
They also they come to the homes. Now my facilities are a little different and I can speak about that. But we hire individuals to go into individuals' homes. Right? Nice. They don't go into hospitals. I know some agencies will go into a hospital. We do not go into the hospitals. We will go into an assisted living facility or or they call them like it's like an over age, what do they call it? Like communities, elder communities or communities where individuals are 55 or older. Right?
Okay.
We do go in those communities. We go in those apartment complexes. We go in those senior living facilities. We go in personal care homes. We go in boarding homes, but we do not go into the hospital.
Understood. That makes sense. So you say you have facilities. How many facilities do you have?
So I also run a nonprofit organization called Care Nest Home. So it shares the same name. Right? But the surname is different. So you have Care Nest Home Care Agency and you have Care Nest Homes. The nonprofit organization is personal care homes. As I was running the agency, I realized people would call me and say, because people really didn't know what the home care business was all about or what the agency provided. They would call me and say, hey, I'm homeless. Can you help me? And I'm like, no, but I can refer you to some people that can help you. Or they will walk into the agency at 5601 and a half Chew Avenue in Germantown section of Philadelphia. And they would say, I need help. I need somewhere to live. Can you help me? And the ladies in the office would say, no, we can't help you, but we can recommend some organizations that can help you. So I thought, as an entrepreneur, let me find a situation or a solution to this problem. Homelessness is a huge, huge, huge issue in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Huge. And we just don't have the resources to support these individuals. And when you talk about like being a leader and being vigilant and being mindful of people and their behaviors and how you make people feel, I will talk to anybody, cuz. I talk to so many homeless people and you will be surprised, where they came from, their background, their educational status. A lot of them are so intelligent.
Well, that's how we were raised.
Come into your house. They don't want anybody to take care
No, they don't. Well, that's how we were raised. That's our family. That's what we did. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's exactly what we do. And you're so right about that. You're so right. And quite honestly, sometimes and we used to have instances where you would want to assist or try to help them and they didn't want your assistance. They didn't want your help.
They don't. Nope, they don't. And I talk to so many of them, and I just do things like, because I'm a nonprofit, I get food donations. I give them food. I give them clothes, and let them go on their way. But then others truly need shelter. So I started Careness Homes, a nonprofit organization. And for those individuals that need shelter, I bring them into my home. And I will go to Careness Home Care Agency and ask them for aids, right? Do you have a home health aide that can come into one of my homes and support these individuals? And so I'm able to get aides from Careness Home Care Agency that have the compassion and the empathy that I'm looking for, and they support individuals in my personal care homes.
Wow. Rashida.
I know. That's what I said. It's about to get really interesting. I know your listeners are like, who the hell is this lady? I know. I sleep
Family.
At night, guys.
Oh my God.
I sleep very, very hard, and I pray in the morning when I wake up. And I put my feet on the ground, and I put one foot in front of the other, because I realize that I've created a life that's not just about me or my son or my animals or my partner. It's about 600-700 other people. So that's government, and I just do it. Not to mention the individuals in corporate America. I'm responsible for about 400 people there. And, and at any given time, something can happen. And I'm mindful about how I treat them, because they have a higher paying job, but it's a job that's meaningful, and it's their quality of life. So, and they rely on me to be their leader. Goodness. I know, but I rest hard, but I do everything I do with passion, and I do with love, and I do under God's name. I just feel like this is my calling. Instead of being a neurosurgeon, I'm a leader, and I'm a director of operations across a couple of different sectors.
But he ordered your steps. I mean, I truly do believe that. And you followed the path. You followed the journey, the path and the journey which was laid out for you. I'm sure along the way you were saying, okay, but every single time you said, okay, I'm bored. He was directing you elsewhere. I truly do believe that. He said, okay, now you have enough knowledge in this space. Now I need you to go over to this space, because I need you to apply that knowledge here. I am a firm believer in that, because he will direct you when we think, I should say, because when we think we're doing it, I know it's nobody but him, because the outcome is always great. The outcome is always great when you shift and you listen and you're obedient and you do as he directs. Look at what we're talking about. We're going to take a short commercial break, but when we come back, I'm going to ask you to tell us, well, I've got so many questions. This is what we're going to do. Because I want to know how long you've had the agency. How long did you have the agency, and then start the homes themselves, and how, I just have a few questions, but we got to take this commercial break, and I'm saying, okay, Carol, calm down, just calm down. So family, you see, look at that, Chloe's upset and everything's going on. Family, we're going to take another short break. You know what we do, but we'll be right back, and we'll talk some more with Rashida. Okay, so stay with us.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge.
Come here.
And my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None.
I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
We're often influenced by what we see or hear on social media. Beware of disinformation campaigns targeting Black communities by using cultural issues to incite divisions, spread false information, and negatively influence public opinions. We're in this together, and together we can stay informed and empowered. Learn more at nbcit.org. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things can never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned into Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. You know that's WURDradio.com. I just want to send a hello and a special shout out to all of our family members joining us on our socials. You know, I'd like to send you some love, some extra love. I am terribly sorry that I'm not actually able to read everything aloud right now, but guess what? I will make sure that I respond to each and every one of your comments. And although Rashidah is visiting with us today, our guest for this evening, she's going to come back because there's so much about what she does and what she has going on that I find so interesting. And I know you do too. And I know you have some questions for her that escaped me. I'm almost positive of it. So we're going to make sure that she does come back to visit with us. But since we have her here today, and since I still have some more time with her, I was, before the break, I was asking you, Rashidah, to tell us how long you've had CareNest Home Care Agency. How long has the agency been in existence?
So I started CareNest in 2018. So it's been almost 5 years. June will make 5 years. And it has been eventful. So even during the pandemic, just connecting with all the clients and making sure that they were good, and finding face masks and hand sanitizer and gloves to ensure that our clients and our caregivers were safe, and still going in that time. It's just been nothing but eventful. And I mean, and when we talk about like hiring staff, hiring caregiver, it's a challenge to hire good talent too to drive the business. But I have one of the best associate directors, Miss Tamika Lyons. Everyone knows her. Everyone loves her. She drives the business from an operational day-to-day standpoint over at Winchell Avenue. She also drives it in Morrisville, Pennsylvania.
Wow. You know what? You're saying this, and I'm thinking about some of the clients that you might have. I'm curious to know, because I know we're talking about mental health, and anything can happen. Everything does happen, and anything can happen. So I'm curious to know: have there ever been instances or situations where you had clients that you had to either move elsewhere or remove, or has that ever been an experience of yours?
Yes, we've had clients, not so much from the agency perspective, but from a residential CareNest homes perspective. Yes, we've had residents that would move into our home that would have mental health or behavioral challenges that just were issues or challenges that we just couldn't handle, right? Which I think that in today's society, you will be surprised how it is an unmet need out there for individuals with mental health coupled by behavioral issues that are not treated. And there's no place for these individuals to go.
That's why I asked. I'm sorry to have interjected, but that was why I asked, because we keep hearing stories in the news of instances where people who are experiencing mental health are I don't want to say it, but your family, you know what I'm talking. You know about that. You know what I'm talking about. We've heard stories in the news with different individuals who have had may have been in the midst of an episode or have had some mental health issues, and it wasn't met well. It wasn't handled well. And so I was curious to know, like at the home itself, when you're providing care, how do you even handle situations like that?
Well, when our caregivers when we first come to an individual's home, when they call CareNest and they say, hey, we or my mom or my dad or my cousin, my uncle needs home care, right? They ask us a lot of questions like, is it free? And if it's not free, how much does it cost? So we go through that process. And if they don't have free home care in the state of Pennsylvania, we support them with the application process. Once an individual is approved, or if individual already has home care and they want to transfer to a different agency because they're not getting what they need at another home care agency, we'll come out, we'll do an intake, and we create a care plan. During that process in the individual's home, we're talking about their diagnoses and the symptoms associated with those diagnoses. So we know coming out of that conversation what we're dealing with and what the needs are. Time to time, right? I'm gonna say like 1 out of every 5 of our clients deal with either mental health issues or behavioral health issues, and they can be one and the same depending on the diagnoses.
I was going to ask.
And there'll be situations. There have been situations where a caregiver is dealing with those symptoms associated with that disease, right? And we teach them. And I was just having this conversation with Alberta Riddick,
our cousin,
because Alberta works in boarding homes in Atlanta, right? And she's consistently dealing with young children with behavioral health issues. And I was motivating her to get educated. I'm not a psychologist, but I think that you need that skill, because
Oh,
what
you
I
do.
teach my aides is when an individual with behavioral or mental health challenges is dealing with a certain symptom, identify one. I want you to step away, pause, lower your voice, pause, step away from them, give them a 5-minute timeout where there's nothing being said. You're not directing them, you're not receiving them, you're just quiet. Allow their brain to slow down. So that the behavior can eventually change. And then give it 5 minutes and then talk to them. That teaching, I don't know where I got that from. I just know it works.
It works. Oh, it does. It helps. Wait, and you know what? And this is across the board. This is it doesn't matter whether you're talking about a young adult, one of our babies, or a mature adult. It doesn't matter. It works. It really does work. I've had the experience myself, so I know that it works. But I'm curious to know, because you just said something really interesting, because I too, because we talk about this because I work with the babies, and a lot of my babies have challenges. So I was curious to know, like, in thinking about families who may have family members with mental health challenges, if there are free classes that they could take to help them navigate. I never looked into that, but of course the question just popped into my head when you were talking about that, because we tend to do it because it's in a profession in which we work. But I'm curious, now that we're talking about it, if there's something out there to help family members. I might have to find that.
There are several organizations, right? Like the Alzheimer's Association for just throw one out there. And I can provide you some materials for your family, your online
Please.
family. But I'm just going to use the Alzheimer's Association as an example, because I think a lot of individuals are dealing with Alzheimer's and the symptoms of dementia associated with Alzheimer's and that senior population. Alzheimer's Association has a ton of if you just Google Alzheimer's Association, they have a ton of materials online, short videos that you can take that will teach you how to handle and deal with the behaviors associated with the disease. They have online classes. I actually am working with the Alzheimer's Association to set up a class where they'll come out and educate my caregivers, right,
I love that.
on how to deal with an individual or a senior that has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which is a progressive degenerative disease, and the symptoms of dementia that are associated with it. Like, people say, what is sundowners? What is sundowners?
It is.
Right about now, right?
It is.
And how do you deal with it as a stressed out caregiver? This is your mom, this is your dad, and you've been working with this person and you're watching them change in the blink of an eye, and you don't have the support of the state for free home care, and you can't afford to pay $25 an hour for an individual to come in your home. So how do you deal with it? Google Alzheimer's Association. Take a look at the videos that they have online, get involved, become a member. You can also just sign up for their newsletter and they will share information with you. I believe they even have one-on-one coaching. Don't quote me on that, but dig a little deep to Google Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah, I'm going to look for that information, because we're having this conversation and I'm thinking, because I know it would be helpful. I know it will be helpful. Some of our family members are curious, as am I. I mean, it would be something good to know. Wow. So you started Care Nest Home Care Agency in 2018. And then, so how long? Because when I tell you, I know what I'm thinking, but family, we're all listening to Rashida, and she's talking about the first company that you mentioned, Squib. I can't even get the name right. Is it Squib?
Squib. Yeah. BMS.
Yes. So you're talking about working for Squib, and she said she's still working for Squib. Okay, she's been there 20 plus years. Okay, and now you have Care Nest Home Care Agency and the Care Nest Home Care System. When did you start the home care system?
So Care Nest Home Care Agency is the non-skilled agency, right? Where we hire individuals to go into people's homes and help them with homemaking services, just to keep it simple. But then you have CareNest Homes, which is a nonprofit organization that houses individuals that cannot live alone. And I started that in 2019. So 2018 was the agency, 2019 was a nonprofit.
My Lord, my Lord.
So I've been managing all these businesses and corporate America for the past 5 years. But I know people always say, do you sleep? Do you eat? I eat a lot. I sleep. But I hire strong individuals to drive the businesses for me.
Competent individuals. Yeah. You do though. I mean, I've been to one of the facilities. I know she does. She really does. But I'm also curious to know. So like, say that I have a family member who's listening and they want to know, okay, what's the process? If I'm interested in having one of your staff members come and care for one of my loved ones, what's the process with the home care agency? What is the process?
So step one is just to call us. Like just pick up the phone and give us a call. The number is 215-882-1623. And I'll repeat it. It's 215-882-1623. Call us. All you got to say is, hi, my name is Rashidah. I'm interested in home care for my mom, or I'm interested in home care for myself. And that starts the conversation. It starts the process. It's just that simple. Either you have home care and you want to transfer your home care services to CareNest, or you don't have home care and you qualify for free home care services. We'll walk you through that process. It's about a 2 or 3 month process that requires follow through and phone contacts with different agencies, like the Corporation of Aging in Philadelphia. And there's a different Corporation of Aging in Bucks County, and there's one for Montgomery County. But then it's that, and then it's the county assistance office, right? Making sure you meet the financial requirements. You can't make over a certain amount of money, because if you do, you can afford to pay out of pocket. And then it's just identifying one of the insurance companies. We accept Keystone First, PA Health and Wellness, and also UPMC. And these are the 3 insurance companies that work with the state to pay for the free home care on your side. But if you make a lot of money, have a lot of money, your family has a nice pension for you, then we also do private pays where you can pay out of pocket, and we give discounts because it's so expensive. If you prepay, you get a discount. If you're a good client and you're paying on time, you get a discount. I find ways to make it a little bit more affordable, because it could be costly if you're paying out of pocket. But all you got to do, step 1, call CareNest. Google us. And it's NEST. Just think of the bird's nest. That's where I get the idea from. And the number is 215-882-1623.
Can you repeat the website for us again, please?
CareNest Home Care Agency. And I'm just going to show you like a little.
Is that a .net, a .com, a .org? Is there a CareNest Home Care Agency? So I could just type that in and it'll come out. .com. Okay.
All you gotta do is type in CareNest with an N, and you're gonna see that little house. See that house that I created, cuz?
Yes, I love that. I love that. I love it. I love that. I do.
And if you know someone that's looking for home care, we pay up to, employment. I'm sorry. We pay up to $18 an hour. So if you know someone that's looking for a job and they have empathy and they have love and compassion in their heart.
That is so important.
You know what? Google.
I do have a question about age. Is there an age restriction, or is it an age requirement, or
18 years or older? 18 years.
And I'm sorry, my question was not clear. This is with regard to employment?
Yes.
Or is this regard? Okay. So the question was twofold, actually, and I should have stated that, but in this brain of mine. So so with regard to employment, CareNest is welcoming those who are interested, who are 18 and over, 18 years of age and older. So I was curious to know too, with regard to clients that you have in the house, in CareNest homes, is there an age requirement, or is there an age restriction, or?
No, I don't service children, right? Okay. So you have to at least be like 45, 50 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't service children, but I can't say I service individuals over the age of 65 either, because I have individuals that are younger that deal with like adult autism, right? And they can't live alone, right? So their families will pay out of pocket privately for me to take care of them in my home.
Nice. Family, if you've just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. It's that time for us to take just a short break. This is our last break of the hour, though. I feel like it went by so quickly. But stay with us. Okay, stay with us, because we'll be right back. You know, we've got some time. Stay with us.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! No?
Excellent. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
I love you!
And is this with the doctor or is this with the nurse practitioner? Fantastic. Dad, lunch. Got some soup for you.
You are loved.
Oh, you. Look at those freckles.
This was very much.
You are valued. You are strong. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early, when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hey, boss. Okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Since I was little, it was only like me and my parents. You think you created family out of characters? Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take that and make it into a song.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the first did Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at? Where you at? On the way out. In my head, in my head, in my head.
Jason,
Hey, Pop.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That is WURD radio.com. Listen, we've been talking about everything, okay? Under the umbrellas of love and life as it pertains to health. We've talked about COVID. We've talked about vaccines. We've talked about, listen, you name it, and we've talked about it. But we're coming to the end of the show, and I hate that. I hate that. But I'm so happy that we're talking with our guest, none other than RASHIDAH ROBINSON, about healthcare, because that is her skill set, that's her forte, that is her specialty. But I was asking her, I said, I said to her offline, like, do you sleep? And if so, when? But she said, yes. She said, I sleep, I eat, okay, I enjoy life. I don't know when she finds the time, how she finds the time. I don't know when and how you do. But she says she does. She says she does. I'm just going to take that. But I'm curious to know if there's anything that you would like to share with us, anything that you would like for us to take away, anything that you would like to give to us as a takeaway.
Thank you, guys. Yes, I do. I think that it's funny because every time I speak about careness and I talk about my other jobs and passions in life, people always ask me, do you sleep? Do you have fun? Are you like a fun person? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the goofiest person you ever want to meet. I love to party. I love to enjoy life, but I am passionate about my business. I am passionate about managing operations in corporate America. I am passionate about driving operations at CareNest Home Care Agency and CareNest Homes. It is important for me to ensure that everyone is seen and is heard and is getting what they need out of any business that I'm operating or overseeing. And that I still have to take care of RASHIDAH. I am nothing to anyone if RASHIDAH is not healthy. We talk about healthcare. I wonder where I'm going to be when it's time for me to transition, right?
Listen, I wonder about that. Well, it sounds like we're having some technical difficulties. I'm not sure what in heaven's name that is or from where it's coming, but guess what? You are not welcome here. Okay, so I'm going to talk because I'm almost certain that the more I talk, you'll be gone. So I'm glad to hear you say that, though, that you do enjoy life and that you are definitely living and you're getting your proper rest, because you look like you do. You look like you're getting rest, so that's a good thing. You do. But so what I do want to know, you talk about CareNest Home Care Agency. We talked about the CareNest Home Care. I'm going to call it the systems because it's a chain. The chain. I'll call it the chain because you've got several locations. What's next?
What's next?
Yes. Yeah. You look like what? Well, you know what I've heard you say? You say, I'm bored. And when I get bored with this, and then I do this, and then I get bored with this. And then, so what happens when you get bored? What's next?
Honestly say, because I haven't been bored in a while, right? I've been inspired to do things differently. I've been inspired to be more creative. I've been inspired to be more thoughtful in the decisions that I make for others. But I don't plan on doing anything more with CareNest. I think that my goal now for CareNest is to continue to grow the business and continue to provide employment in our communities, our underserved communities. I want to continue to provide high professional, high quality service to individuals that are serviced by CareNest, like our clients as well as their families. And I want to continue to bring positivity into not only the community, but to the youth, because I think in the city of Philadelphia, not just the city of Philadelphia, but that's where I'm from, and that's where I see it's needed the most. I was thinking of doing some things around like entrepreneurship classes to support the youth, but I'm not there yet. It's just my next steps. But as far as the CareNest, I'm just here to serve the community. I'm here to serve Philadelphia, Bucks County, Montgomery County, Delaware County, and Chester County. If you need me, just call me at 215-882-1623. If you have someone that has a home care agency that is looking for support, or a young entrepreneur that needs a mentor, I'm here. I do mentorship. Just call me. Number 882-1623. And as far as myself, I just constantly look for that balance, right? I want to make sure that I'm healthy, I'm strong. I want to make sure that I'm able to get up every morning and be of service to God, be of service to my family, my friends, and more importantly, my son. I do have a child. I got a bunch of little fur babies running around here. Some big ones and some little ones.
I got a human, but I do have some fur babies.
Yeah, and to be of service to my partner. I think that when you hear so many African American female entrepreneurs these days, and I had a conversation with my girlfriends, and I talked to them about agility. I talked to them about nimbleness, but I also talked to them about flexibility. You have to be flexible, and you have to, if you have a partner, if you have children, you have to pour into those people just as much as you pour into your business, right? And you have to pause and pour into yourself. You have to have spa day, family day, gym time. You need all of that in order for you and your family and all the pieces to come together. And the one thing that it takes is time. Nothing comes easy, nothing comes fast. And you have to be open-minded and be willing to receive the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm telling you, it's not easy, but it is so worth it once you find that balance and you're patient with yourself and you're patient with others, because people are not easy.
No. Oh, you just said that's a whole word right there. A whole word. I mean, it's undeniable. It is a whole word. You said everything in a nutshell. You're so right. Because if you're not good to you, I say it all the time. If you're not good to you, I mean, you listen, who else are you going to expect to be good to you if you're not good to you? It has to begin with you. I say be good to you, but be good to those around you, because you can't be good to anybody else if you're not good. But in any event, oh my goodness, I can't thank you enough for coming to spend some time with me. I'm hoping you'll come back when we're not when everybody can everybody else has an opportunity to talk with you, because like I said, I'm sure they have some questions that I didn't address. So I'm hoping you'll be able to come back and talk with us some more, if that's all right with you. Yes. So before you go, because yes, part 2. So before you go, I know you have to jump. Oh, what? Oh, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? The time goes by so quickly. Before you go, though, can you tell us once again the telephone number and your website address?
CareNest Home Care Agency's telephone number is 215-882-1623. I'll repeat it, 215-882-1623. And then the web address is www.carenest with an N, homecareagency.com. CareNestHomeCareAgency.com. You can Google it. We're on Twitter. We're even on TikTok. I'm the CareNest lady. I don't act too goofy, but I'm on there being goofy.
I love it.
Media at CareNest Home Care or CareNest Homes. And I'm constantly posting, constantly interacting with the community, and I put a lot of information up for individuals to be mindful of. So I'm around if you need me. My team is around if you need me. You can find me at that phone number, and they will get you directly connected with me if it's personal, or if you say, I want to speak to Rashidah only, because you got people that call me, I only want to speak to Rashidah. They're like,
they will find you. I hear that. Well, thank you. Chloe's upset again. I don't know why. But in any event, family, you know what time it is. Thank you so much, Rashidah, and we will see you soon. Love you guys.
Love you too, baby. Have a good one.
You too. Family, as we wrap up tonight's episode, I'm extending my gratitude to you as you continue to support love and life. We're all in this together. I tell you this all the time. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. for another edition of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. All right. See y'all next time.
Stand with WURD Radio, Pennsylvania's only black-owned talk radio station. Join the movement to keep the conversations going and amplify the voice of the black community. Show your support. Start or renew your 4WURD membership today at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875.
A lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player for the Indianapolis Colts. Becoming a running back was no easy task for me. But it's nothing compared to what my amazing mom faces every day. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14 years old. Yet she's always there for me, every step of the way, despite her own battles. And the Muscular Dystrophy Association is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Their research is helping find cures and save lives. Watching my mom go through her daily struggles and the care she receives from MDA has made me determined to help find a cure for neuromuscular disease. That is why I support MDA, and that's why I'm so grateful to others who do too. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Imagine you on a deserted island all by yourself, or even being in a crowd of people yet still feeling alone. That's what being a victim of sexual assault can feel like. Victims of sexual assault are at an increased risk for developing depression, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, and anxiety. Sexual assault can happen to anyone and is any unwanted sexual contact such as unwanted touching, fondling, groping, or even rape. No always means no, so speak up and speak out. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media. Lifting.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.